Welcome. Cut Ups episode 8. We got Michigan versus Rutgers here. Steven Ostentowski here bringing you just some film analysis. It's just me today. Late start. Trevor McHugh is out sick today, so I will do my best without him. But covering Michigan versus Rutgers, the blowout victory. Slow start. We'll get through all of that. We'll get through the first half. And then get to hopefully some of the start of the blowout. But we're late tonight because of the Michigan basketball team. If you want to throw some initial basketball comments, I'll talk about that a little bit. Mainly football here, but was fun to catch Dennis Fidian on his show after the game. Was an impressive showing for the Wolverines. Jet Howard, Dickinson back. Nice seeing those guys on the hard court again. Admittedly, I'm more of a football guy, but did a series last year with CJ Baird talking through some basketball. So we'll see. Maybe we'll bring that back this year. But we're here today to talk some football. So let's just dive right into it. I know I'm a couple minutes early, but this is going to go on for a little bit. And given we have a late start, figured might as well get it going now. And people can trickle in and start to add their commentary here. So right away, Michigan received the ball first. Really like this play action split zone look, roll out, get JJ McCarthy comfortable, and just a nice downfield strike here to Ronnie Bell to start the game. So nothing fancy here, right? Split zone action. You're sending across your tight end here, Colson Loveland, sending him out this way like he's going to block. Right, just a little fake action here. Just get these linebackers used to this action here, right? Given its pistol, not a whole lot that Michigan, or this is actually under center, but Michigan usually runs the ball from under center. Not a whole lot of play action out of this look. Again, breaking your tendency, and then you're just doing a flood concept, right? Make the job of your quarterback easy, right? He only has to read half the field. You got three different sort of routes going deep here. You have a little flat route here, a deeper route here. Kind of an out route, and then a deeper flag route here for Cornelius Johnson. So just get that flood concept, right? Make those eyes easier on your quarterback to get out of the pocket, use his legs. He's really comfortable in these settings. He identifies Ronnie Bell on that sort of flag pattern, and boom, right? Huge chunk play. Especially a lot of people have been calling for more of downfield shots, right? Set up your quarterback to get confident on that, right? Really like this aspect too. Ronnie Bell, you can see his arm right here calling for it, right? He knows he's open, calling out, hey, I got a lot of room to the up to the towards the sideline and further on, right? So he can carry on more vertically, doesn't have to go horizontal. He's got a lot of space there. Makes a nice catch. And I like the location of the ball, right? You don't need to hit this in stride. It's more about just get it there, let Ronnie Bell operate in space, and he does that. So really nice pickup. Like doing the play action, get your quarterback confident, and get that threat of the run, a big chunk play right out of the bat. All right, so after that chunk play, you got Michigan set up well here in Rutgers territory on the 3rd and 3 here from the 33-yard line. That's a lot of threes here, split zone action. Again, just ran a little bit of play action off of this, right? And this time you get a touchdown. Now, this was called back, right? Why was this called back? Schoonmaker, right? You'll see Schoonmaker here steps up from the line of scrimmage here, and then he steps back, okay? And this is what he's supposed to do, right? This is split zone look. So he's going to step back here. Once the play starts, he's going to go in motion across, pick up a block here, and this is your split zone. The issue is likely with your outermost wide receiver here, right? You can only have 4 people behind the line of scrimmage, right? So, you can only have 5 people behind the line of scrimmage, okay? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're okay here. As soon as he backs up, right? And if we move forward here a little bit, as soon as he backs up right here and the ball's snapped, right? All of these guys are off the line of scrimmage. Okay, one of these guys needs to be up on the line of scrimmage. He's close here on the edge, right? But he is off. So because of that, you have too many people off the line of scrimmage here, and that's where your penalty comes in. So it was really well blocked otherwise, right? Because that doesn't really change the play here. On the outside, you're just having block, block, block. Nice split zone action here. You get a free release from your guard and tackle. Boom, boom, get to the linebackers. Nice double here. And then you have Schoonmaker kicking out the edge here, right? This is a pure give. There's no read. Everyone is in run blocking. And Corum just dusts his way. And this is blocked all the way through, right? Nobody there except for that safety, and Corum dispels that. So really unfortunate with the alignment, right? You fix the alignment, boom, get a really nice chunk play right away, and you're feasting. So really well blocked, especially good kick out block here from Schoonmaker, right? Really good job getting to the second level. 16 is out of position here. So you're taking out the linebacker, good double here on the backside. So you had everything you wanted on this play, right? And it's really well blocked. And then you get your playmaker in space. Just can't be having those mistakes, right? Those alignment mistakes are something that you can't really, you can't do against better teams, right? You can't give up opportunities like this where you had the numbers in the box, were able to block that really well. And instead of 3rd and 3 and converting, now you're back to 3rd and 8, right? Luckily, Michigan will convert here. But against better teams, right, you don't want to be giving away those huge opportunities. And this, again, get your playmaker in space. This is all JJ McCarthy, right? Give a lot of credit. Rutgers, I think, came in with a really good strategy, this time having sort of an exotic look, right? They were showing pressure from how many guys is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 at the line of scrimmage, right? And it's hard to determine which ones are actually coming and which ones are going out. They're only actually sending 5 on pressure here with a little stunt, right? So sending here 90 this way, a little stunt around the edge here, bringing this guy off the edge, and then these 2 linemen as well. Okay, so they're dropping out these 2 in coverage. So sending 5, and the guy off the edge here is not accounted for. Okay, so we don't get a real view of the downfield routes that they're running, but JJ McCarthy, after his first read here, he notices that pressure, right? He does a quick check here. He recognizes this pressure coming off the edge, notices this, and he decides he has to duck out. Okay, so he's not able to get through his read progression cleanly. We don't see what's really opening up. It does seem like this sort of slant that you have out of, I believe that's Cornelius Johnson. I'm not sure. That doesn't look like Cornelius Johnson. It might be Ronnie Bell. I can't tell. But right here, just a little slant route. Looks like this would be opening up. But again, at the time that would be opening up, right, look at the eyes of JJ McCarthy. He's looking over at the pressure, right? So as soon as this route is starting to open up, you have this linebacker vacating here. 16 is kind of following Schoonmaker on his little drag route here, right? So you would see that slant start to open up. That window would be there, but JJ McCarthy's already ducking out at this point, okay? So it's a good job from JJ McCarthy, right? He probably still could have thrown that ball, right? It's hard to tell. Again, we don't have – it could be AJ Henning. Good job, Nerd Bill. That's definitely AJ Henning on that route. Good call. So it's unfortunate, right, that pressure wasn't there. Could Michigan done a better job with pass protection? Definitely. I think this is probably Donovan Edwards' job here, right? If you look at who's responsible here, could you have done a better job on the left side? Probably, right? But they are showing 3 here, right? You're showing 3 here. And I think with this guy off the edge, Donovan Edwards likely should have been checking the outside and gone across the formation to pick this up. Okay. So I'm putting that on Donovan Edwards. On missing that, he kind of just throws himself into an offensive lineman there. But also, you know what? Looking at this again, you have both your right guard and right tackle taking on a single defensive end here with 17 unblocked. So the more I look at this, the more it just seems like a bust overall on the offensive line. So can't really fault Donovan Edwards for taking the inside unblocked man. He actually does a good job blocking that. So again, give credit to Rutgers for disguising their pressure well, and then give credit for JJ McCarthy, right, finding something here. Nice couple fakes there just to get that little extra crease, and picks up a nice 10, 12 yards on that pickup. So again, Rutgers got what they wanted. This is just Michigan making some plays here. Fast forward a little bit. We're on 4th and goal, right? Goal line stands for Rutgers were pretty strong. Michigan continued to just pound the goal line, mainly with Blake Corum, especially on this drive, and just find a little bit of crease, right? Nothing special here, right? This isn't anything special. I think this angle gives a really good view of what they kind of did, where Rutgers were clearly diving at the legs here, especially you look at number 18 right here for Rutgers, just diving at the legs, right? It's hard to get push when you have a bunch of 300-pound, 250-pound men diving at your ankles, right? So it's really cool to look at Blake Corum's eyes here. And he's just going right off the butt of Keegan. Keegan is just saying, okay, you want to dive at ankles. I'm just going to ride you down there, right? Fall on top of you here. And Blake Corum sees this target, right? He sees this target, says, I'm going right off the butt here of Oluwatimi, dives right over that and just finds that little crease, right? Just millimeters right there. So really good job finding that crease, right? That's all it takes. All you need is just that little millimeter. Find that extra little space here. And it's interesting to know if this was coached for Keegan to say, hey, go down with him, right? Take him over. And Blake Corum, that's where you're looking to dive over, right? Hard to say. It seems like that's exactly what Blake Corum was looking for, whether this is true vision or planned. It seems like they're saying, hey, they're taking out our ankles, go right off of Trevor Keegan. He's going to dive on top of him, go off Oluwatimi's butt, right? Two of your best interior offensive linemen. You're going to trust that a crease is going to be there if you have that 1-2 punch. So, again, give credit to Rutgers. They were stout on the defensive line in goal line situations, able to punch this in, take a 7-0 lead. Let's move on to the defensive side of the ball here. 3rd and 7 early on. And this play will give you Sam Stamos. Let's go back here. The offensive lineman grabbing Corum's face mask, jabbing maybe. The jabbing? Grabbing Corum's face mask, jabbing maybe. Yeah, I mean, he definitely did throw up afterwards. Oh, the D lineman. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, he got a finger in there. Whether that's intentional or not, hard to say, right? It's probably hard for. You're right. He definitely gets a hand in there, right? He definitely gets a hand in there. Um, whether that's intentional or not, right? I don't really like making um, assumptions on that. It did seem like it happened a couple times, but sometimes it's football, sometimes it's dirty. I'm not gonna, you know, make judgments one way or the other. Sometimes football is football, but okay, 3rd and 7 here. This is the Gavin Wimsat experience all in one play, right? Really good athlete. He's got an arm on him. Michigan bringing some pressure here, right? Really great look. Really great look on Michigan's pressure, right? They're again showing a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. You're actually going to be bringing Mike Sainer off the edge here as well, as my software says. There we go. And I think in the future, Michigan's going to want to get a little bit more creative with this, right? In a better offense, a more experienced quarterback, he's going to be able to look at this and say, okay, the alignment here, right? When you have two guys lined up within a yard horizontally of one another over a single receiver, that means one of these guys is usually going to come, right? And teams will pick up on that in the future. I think a little bit better here, but especially with a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, this is a lot to ask of an offensive line, right? So it's a really good look, especially with this move of Mike Morris, right? Mike Morris's job here is say, hey, I'm going to duck inside of this right tackle, right? Get this right tackle to commit here, and you'll have a free shot, Mike Sainer still off the edge, right? So there goes Mike Morris inside, your best pass rusher working on an inside move that occupies that right tackle. And that's what you get, right? You get exactly what you want if you're Michigan. Getting into his first read is Wimsat, right? Everyone's still getting into the routes. So you get exactly what you want from Michigan here. It's just a good job of him escaping the pocket. So Mike Sainer still probably right about here, right? Start to break down, right? You start to break down, chop your feet. You don't have to go full speed here. He's just a little late collecting himself, right? Good attempt there, but give Wimsat a little bit of credit there for able to escape the pocket. And then at this point, it's just scramble mode, right? We don't get a better view of down the field, but any routes that we're developing here, now it's just time for all the receivers to kind of work their way, right? All receivers are probably just working, flooding along with Wimsat as he works this way. And then all the defensive linemen are just following as well, right? It's just pursuit drill. So good job for defensive linemen. Continue to work down the line. Mozzie Smith, Mike Morris are there. Will Johnson's in coverage here. And then probably, not the worst decision to throw right here. He's got a little bit of a window. but he's not the most accurate quarterback, right? He's got a good arm, but not an accurate quarterback. So again, this is kind of the full experience of Wimsatt. He's got the athleticism to escape something that looks like a sure sack. Sanderson's been generally a really solid tackler, takes good angles throughout the year. Just misses that one. Wimsatt able to escape, but again, not the most accurate passer despite having a strong arm. And Michigan forces the punt here. Michigan gets the ball back here, starting at their own 30-yard line here. Taylor Upshaw, they're dropping into coverage. Yeah. And Taylor Upshaw, a guy I think is really improved quite a bit, but I think he's also one of those guys. He's not one of your premier pass rushers, right? So having a guy like Mike Morris, Iabioki, having those guys rushing the passer, and being able to have a guy like Upshaw just dropping just to make things confusing, right? He's probably not the most comfortable in that role, but just do it once or twice, right? That's all you need to know to confuse future offenses of like, man, who's dropping into coverage? They've dropped this guy into coverage, right? Even 91, even Taylor Upshaw, and he's not, he's a pretty heavy defensive end type of guy. So just keeps those offenses guessing down the line. Here, a little play action here on Michigan's next possession, and this one hurts, right? Had him, right? All year, where's the deep shot? Where's the deep shot? Where is it? And you have it here, right? Just a simple play action pass, and you get exactly what you want if you're Michigan, right? The eyes for J.J. McCarthy seemingly looking off that safety here, and I mean, there is just nobody in the building, right? So really, who are the only guys really covering this? I mean, no one really. 22 is a linebacker, right? And he takes this first step forward, right? This is a great look at it. You get this play action here. This guy starts to crawl up here, and then he starts dropping way back, right? It's hard to say exactly what type of coverage it is, but why they have that linebacker covering Andrel Anthony on this is a huge bust. Okay, whatever the coverage was, not what you want, because the safety number 2 here, right? He looks like he's covering a deep half, so his initial motion is taking him out this way as well. So to have this be the motion of the safety while you have a guy like Andrel Anthony running up the seam and a linebacker covering doesn't make sense to me from a coverage standpoint, right? So just a clear mismatch, and Michigan identified it, right? The eyes of McCarthy, give him credit for actually seeing that. The ball just doesn't need to be on that tight of a rope, right? The ball never really leaves the screen. You can see it the entire time. It's just never lofted the way it needs to be, right? And it seems like it's kind of an issue where he's not laying it in like he used to, right? And this just has a little bit too much heat on it, right? He probably got a little bit too excited, right? That's my read of this, is that he just got a little bit excited at what he saw, right? And there are times to put on a 50-yard rope through the air like this, right? This is not one of them. This is if he has to hold up 3 or 4 yards to catch that, then you're fine with it, right? We have a question here. Henry Jones, did Andrel pull up on the route, you think? I don't think so. The only thing I possibly see, maybe he ran this a little too horizontal, right? Maybe. And that's something where I don't know how they really teach this route, right? But what I mean by that is he is running sort of this way. If you would have taken it more along the dotted route, right? Because at the end of this route, you're going to see he kind of shifts up a little bit right there. As soon as he recognizes that, hey, this field is more upfield, right? Instead of continuing on this sort of path that he's on, and this isn't 100% accurate, but like this path, right? He kind of makes a shift and says, oh, I need to cut it this way a little bit more and go upfield, right? Part of that is Anthony not judging it appropriately as quickly. I think more of it is just not giving enough air on the ball for your wide receiver to adjust to it, right? The more air you put under the ball, the more you allow for your wide receiver to make that adjustment, right? Not every pass is going to be the same. It is up to the quarterback, as you say, Jam City. It's up for JJ to lay it in there, right? Especially with that much space. give your wide receiver the chance to adequately redirect, right? And the less air you put on the ball, the less room for error there is. There was no room for error at all. And that's not setting up your wide receiver for success. So I don't think there's any issue with the route. It just needs to be a little bit softer of a throw. So it's a bummer, right? The chances are there. And this is the thing where I feel like a lot of people have been, I think it's a fair complaint of saying like the deep ball, we haven't had those explosive pass plays. I think that's fair, but these are close. Okay. So it's not like the Joe Milton experience where these passes are a million miles overthrown and it's just really ugly and things like that. Like these are close, right? They're close balls. And we have seen it from JJ McCarthy to hit these deep shots, right? So it's not like something kind of like I said about the Joe Milton experience where we just had never seen it. We were always waiting. It's more of we've seen it and we're wondering why it's all of a sudden kind of left JJ McCarthy, right? And he did have the shoulder injury, so that's fair speculation. It's hard to say for sure, right? But hopefully it comes back, right? But I think the overall thing is this is open, right? And your quarterback is reading it appropriately. So it's not like there's a deep shot that your quarterback has missed, is like not reading appropriately or not close on the throw, right? Both of these are inches away, millimeters away from being complete and being a huge play and making Michigan a more successful team through the air on explosives. And it's a really good route too, right? So a lot of these pieces are there. It's just about making those minor little adjustments to make it all work together. So it's close. So this is why I'm not like, oh, it's not going to happen this year. It just needs to improve a little bit, and then you'll have the full package on offense. Okay. Looking at 3rd and 4 here. And this is stopped short. So what do we got here? Looks like read option here. Actually, I don't think this is an actual read, mainly because Schoonmaker is looking to make this block. Okay, so the reason I'm saying is this an actual read or not? If it were an actual read, you would not be having your tight end block this end, right? So sometimes, right, if it's an arc read, you're leaving this guy unblocked, right? And you're reading him and your tight end will work around to the outside, right? And the goal, if this is the case, right, if you are reading this guy, if he comes down the line, right, if he comes down the line, then you keep to the outside and you have your lead blocker Schoonmaker around the outside like that, okay? If that's not the case, say he doesn't come down the line and he heads upfield, right? He heads upfield for the keep, then you give, right? Then you give, he has taken himself out of the play and there's no need to block this guy because he went upfield and he took himself out of the play, right? So that's traditionally how you can tell whether it's an actual read or whether it's a designed give. So because Schoonmaker is coming across the formation and blocking him, that means he's not an unblocked guy, right? So you're accounting for him. And you're doing this motion because that's still part of the playbook, right? You want to, especially in this scenario, you want to potentially hold this guy up, right? Make him think. As soon as you can make the defense think, you make them wait. And when you make them wait, that makes it an easier block for your tight end, okay? So this is a give all the way, split zone. The blocks you're looking for front side, because you have Schoonmaker coming out for this defensive end, they'll take him out. You get a double right here from your guard and center on the defensive tackle. Take him out. Release your left tackle out to a linebacker, right? When the linebacker is coming out here. And then backside, you should be able just to block off these guys. And I believe the hope is just that this guy will be too far lost in the wash for this handoff there. Okay, so that's what you're looking towards. The main issue here is the double between Oluwatimi and Trevor Keegan does not get home. Okay, so just watch this defensive tackle. He works his way really well through this block between Oluwatimi and Trevor Keegan. Right, boom, right between that, and he meets Blake Corum a yard in the backfield. Right. Otherwise, this is pretty well blocked. Right, pretty well blocked. You have your left tackle appropriately reaching here. this double, if they do get there, they'd be able to get to the backside backer, and then boom, boom, and you should have numbers, right? You should have numbers. All the rest of these guys should take out these players, and you have a deep safety out over here. This should be an easy 4 yards with this alignment, right? You get all the blocks you need to. If that double works, right? Just look at right now. Pretend this block is working. Look at all the space that you have out here, right? Especially the hips of 22, right? He's out this way. These guys are pretty far away. It's a lot of room for your running back. So give a lot of credit, right? A defensive tackle made a huge play, worked through a double, knifed through it, and that's a big stop there for Rutgers. That forces a punt here for Michigan, and we all know how this goes, right? So let's take a look at how the punt happens and how Rutgers tied it up. Boom. Right? This is how an inferior team can upset a team like Michigan, right? If we switch real quick, I'll switch to this view. It's just a simple numbers game, right? Just a simple numbers game. You got 4 people on this side for Rutgers, right? Jake Butt did a good job breaking this down in the replay as well. 4 here. You have the snapper, boom, boom, and boom, right? So you got 4 on 4 here. The issue is it's a really good job from 18. Really fast player, works across here and works right through the middle, right? So we'll take a look there. Boom. So it's just not a good job of Michigan recognizing that, right? As soon as you see, and this is on Mike Barrett, right? Usually a really good special teams player. As soon as you see anything flash, right? It's got to be really hard to see this, right? So I'm not saying he's super wrong on this, right? It's got to be really tough to recognize that. But as soon as you see the flash, right, a flash across here, you have to stay home, right? At least think there might be something coming inside here, right? So as soon as you see that flash, right, he had his eyes out there initially. So like right in this window, right, this window right here, you might start to see a little bit of a flash there. Just stay home, right? Stay home. Inside out is your responsibility as that gunner, right? He doesn't see it, and 16 now has a path there, right? Joel Honigford starts to recognize it a little bit, right? But his eyes are also on number 0, right? And number 0 is also doing a similar motion here. This is really clever from Rutgers, right? Because number 4 is coming here, and number 0 is coming across here. He's more of a decoy. Right? This is your true threat. This is your true threat. This is just a decoy for number 0. So watch that. Number 0 coming across here, right? That is taking Honigford's eyes right here, saying, hey, I need to account for that, right? So there's no chance of him really redirecting on this because of the threat that he sees of number 0 doing the same action here, right? So give Rutgers a lot of credit, right? They scouted this pretty well, executed it excellently, and that's exactly what they were looking for, right? So really good play from them. Again, when a certain unit executes this well, right, all you need is just a little misplay, right? Mike Barrett could have played that better, right? But this is a unique look. They probably practiced quite a bit throughout the week, and they turned into a huge momentum shifting play, right? So give a lot of credit, and now it's tied up, right? Michigan back on offense here, and later in the first quarter has to respond to that, right? So that's a big play for them. Here, saying a lot of pressure. J.J. McCarthy, again, why aren't we hitting these downfield passes, right? Oh, J.J. McCarthy can't hit a pass. This is there, right? You got single coverage, Amorian Walker on the outside. You get what you want here, right? Actually, pretty good blitz pickup for Michigan. You look at all the bodies that Rutgers are bringing. They're bringing the heat. They're bringing 6. They're bringing 6 on pressure. Michigan has everyone accounted for, right? This is a pretty good pocket overall. At the time of the throw, there's no pressure here for J.J. McCarthy. He's got single coverage here. Maureen Walker running down the sideline. That hits him right in the breadbasket, right? That is exactly where that ball needs to be, right? I mean, I don't think number 7 does a bad job, but this is a clear – the 2 things I look for when I'm trying to judge whether a pass should be caught or not is the sight path for the wide receiver. Is that there, right? And then does it hit any of the arms? Is the arms are the arms of the defensive back between the arms of the wide receiver? In both these cases, right, the path of the ball is pretty unimpeded for Amorian Walker here, right? You can see this the whole way, right? And the ball was not impeded, right? There's no arm there to compete with. You should be bringing that in, right? So that is right there between the hands of Amorian Walker. So there's no excuse, right? There's no excuse there. It's a well thrown ball, and it's good recognition, right? With pressure, you got single coverage here, right? If we're counting bodies, how many we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single high safety, right? So single high safety is not going to be able to get out there, right? So I mean that's what you want. It's a good matchup. It's a good ball, and it should be caught. I mean, Jam City says every single QB come to Michigan struggle with overthrowing the ball deep. I mean, I wouldn't even say. I mean, I think Michigan's had some pretty good quarterbacks. Even if you don't like some of the quarterbacks, I think overall they've been pretty good. Wilton Spate was pretty accurate. Patterson was there. Cade McNamara had some good throws. I think even Jake Rudock turned into a very serviceable quarterback at the end of his tenure, and that was early on in Harbaugh's career at Michigan. So I don't disagree with that. I mean, this is a good deep ball, right? This is you couldn't place this ball any better. Honestly, you couldn't. So again, it's just little things match up, right? Sometimes the ball, right? If we go back to the Angelo Anthony throw, sometimes the ball is a little bit overthrown. Sometimes the ball is on the money, and it's just not caught, right? Sometimes that's it. You just need to put all the pieces together, right? So again, I don't think it's any one thing. I think if you want to make an argument, it's because Michigan's run game has been so dominant and you haven't had to turn to the pass game all that much, live reps, right? I think that might be it. That might be it. And I think that's your best argument. They don't have enough live reps of this, right, to really be strong in this on every single rep. They just don't, right? So that would be my take of that, okay? And I think a lot of the frustration about the offense in the first half, now you're at 2nd and 10, right? And this is a great pickup from Blake Corum, but you get behind the chains when you take those shots, right? But this is just Blake Corum being Blake Corum, right? And this is why you lean on the run game, right? Because you got a guy like Blake Corum doing silly stuff like this. Right. So just a really great run from him, able to cut back and throws a block. JJ McCarthy does down the field. So let's go back. Do we have a better angle of this? Yeah, this is a decent one. Decent angle here. You got a pull from Zinter here. Schoonmaker doing a good job on the outside. It's kind of a mess on the front side if we're being completely honest here. Okay. It looks like what you're supposed to have Schoonmaker is blocking 1-on-1 on the outside. Okay, let's watch that block first. Schoonmaker, turn your hips, right? Good job. Schoonmaker's doing a great job there. Issue here is this double, again, between Percy and Jeff Percy getting his first start and Trevor Keegan. You want to get a block here and then work to this linebacker. Okay, so this is kind of muddied up. If you watch this double between left guard and left tackle, that defensive tackle does a good job just kind of stalwarting, if that's the word, just holding up that double team, right? Keegan is trying to work. You can see Keegan's eyes. He's trying to work out, get here. And then combined with Oluwatimi struggling here a little bit with the nose tackle there, not able to get released, right? So Keegan's not really able to release that quickly to that linebacker, right? And there's not a whole lot of space because of this struggle, right? You'd expect some movement off of this double team. There's no movement here. So even though Schoonmaker's doing a good job here, where's Zinter going to go, right? He's supposed to come through the hole here and take out this boundary linebacker here. He's supposed to lead through that hole, and that's where Corum's supposed to go, right? I think this is probably, what would you call that? Counter G. down G. Yeah, I think that's probably down G, right? So there's not much of a hole there for Blake Corum to get through, right? Zinter does get there and picks up that block, right? So give some credit. Eventually, right? Percy does get that defensive tackle off, and you do have Keegan eventually getting there, right? So there is just a tiny little crease that's forming here, right? Percy gets there late. Keegan gets there late. Barnhart getting Aaron Lewis. Good job on the backside. So this is just an exercise of just staying engaged, right? Just stay engaged on your blocks. Things are a little bit muddied front here, right? You don't see a really clear hole for Blake Corum, but it's really good recognition, right? As soon as Blake Corum hits the hole, now he's like, okay, now where do I go, right? So all he needs, he's a small little guy, right? Blake Corum. All he needs is just that little crease, just there, and then just that balance, right? Almost gets taken out right there. Look at the leg strength, right? And boom, now he's gone, right? Give a lot of credit to AJ Henning, right? Staying on his block. Look how long AJ Henning is engaged. Right? It's not just the initial block. He stays on him, right? This cutback is only there because AJ Henning continues to chase, continues to get there, right? And then you have JJ McCarthy also taking out a backside blocker. And then you have Cornelius Johnson, right? So continuing blocks. And yeah, Carson Barnhart, right? Look how long Carson Barnhart is on Aaron Lewis here. He stays engaged, right? Boom, initial push, continues to push, continues, right? That sets this up. So again, this is all effort, continuing your blocks. JJ McCarthy down the field, Cornelius Johnson continuing to push his guy down the field, right? And now you're gone, right? So this is doesn't have to be perfect, right? It does not have to be perfect for the play to work. It just requires persistence sometimes. And having a plus back like Blake Corum, right, he can sneak his way through. You notice how small he gets those hips. Kind of turns his hips right here, turns them, right? He's sideways right here, just kind of skipping through the hole. But having a guy with this balance, right, as long as you're staying on your blocks, continuing downfield, right, go until the whistle, right? Cornelius Johnson right there also makes the play. That takes it from a 15-yard pickup to a 30-yard pickup, and it's huge. So really well done. That's, I think that's such a great example of it doesn't have to look pretty every time, right? But staying on it will get you pretty far. And now we have another 4th and goal, right? I started to feel bad for Blake Corum in these situations over and over. I'm like, gosh, he looked kind of sickly to me, Blake Corum. Like he was a little bit slower getting up throughout the game. He just didn't look good, right? Obviously, he puked early on in the game. So I was like, man, just get the guy a break, right? He's just like flinging himself into the goal line time and time again. I was like, oh, we got to try something different here. So this time he acts as a battering ram and gets JJ McCarthy over the goal line here, right? So, again, not a whole lot going on with this play. This is just snap the ball. JJ McCarthy gives a little hop here, right? And then it's just about riding the wave, ride the bodies, right? Don't let that knee touch and just get pushed from behind, right? Again, it looks like he kind of gets pulled on the face mask there a little bit. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe. But brutal, right? It's a war down there, right? That cannot feel good for anybody involved in this. Give a lot of credit to Jaden McCarthy for being tough. Give a lot of credit for Blake Corum for pushing that in, right? And Rutgers was tough. They were not giving away anything there, right? So now you got a 7-point lead towards the end of the first, back on defense, right? 3rd and 8, 0 for 3 for Wimsat so far. Throws this one up for Ryan, and this is not good safety play. All right, let me check this other angle real quick. We'll go the initial angle here. 2 high safeties here for Michigan. This is a pretty simple few-step drop. You're getting some pressure getting there for Michigan here. You got both Junior Colson, who's getting set on a blitz. He's going to work his way through. And then you're going to have Mike Morris getting a decent pass rush, from the top of the off. Or I'm sorry, he's actually dropping into coverage. So who's that on the top of the screen here? Is that Taylor Upshaw? Yeah, Taylor Upshaw is getting good pressure here. So, yep, sorry, wrong arrow there. So these 2 guys especially get some pressure here with this pretty simple drop, right? Just 1, 2, 3 here for Wimsat. Loads up, throws the ball, right? So even if you were going to get pressure, not really applicable here. there's just really no excuse for Moten not getting over the top here, right? What is he really looking at, right? You have the running back coming out here, right? 23 coming out, but you have Michael Barrett for that, right? You have Mike Morris kind of dropping here initially as well. So you have two guys accounted for here, right? You have Mike Barrett probably to account for anything for the running back. That looks like where his eyes are. It seems like Mike Morris is probably checking to see if there's anything here for this tight end type. You also have Mike Sainer still, right? So if this guy does start to come across, you got Mike Sainer still to come down here. They're likely trying to get Mike Morris just in the flat here, right? If this guy does anything towards the flat, that's your responsibility. Nerd Bill, this plays why Makari Page has been getting snaps to Moten, but Page was out for this game. It's a great point. So that's tough, right? So if we're looking, again, we're talking about Moten here, right? So you got two high safety here, deep half. Don't know what Moten's looking at, right? No idea, right? He has the deep half, get depth, right? Right now, you should be getting depth. You should recognize, you should see out of the corner of your eye that you've got a vertical route going here, right? Your responsibility is over the top help. And your cornerback is expecting that, right? You look at, we'll get a better angle at this as well. But DJ Turner is in phase here, right? You got to be working over the top if you're RJ Moten in this scenario. And he doesn't, right? We look at here, he's not in position to help at all, right? So he is not providing any assistance to his corner, and it's a poor route, right? It's a poor route, not able to get there, doesn't make an impact on the play, right? So this is not bad technique from DJ Turner, right? My initial thought was like, oh, he, wasn't really in the hip pocket here, but he's doing a good job, right? This initial push forced him to the boundary, right? There's not a lot of room here for number 5, right? Ryan does not have a lot of room. He's on his hip pocket, right? He's right there. A little bit of a push off, right? Again, this wide receiver 6'4", right? Gets a little bit of a push off with that left arm right there. Gets a little bit of distance, but RJ Moten should be right here instead of right here, right? There's no value here. He has to be right here, and he should be either blasting, right? Blast the wide receiver, work through his body right there, make him pay for it, or going for the ball, right? So you're exactly right. This is why he wasn't getting time, right? Over Makari Page. And your cornerback is expecting that help as well, right? So, I mean, that's a decent play on the ball if you're Turner, right? It takes a really nicely thrown ball, and that's a 6'4" guy going up and getting it, right? So I'm not going to ding DJ Turner for the coverage on that too much. That's just RJ Moten needing to do a better job. So it's a bummer, right? That was third down as well, right? 3rd and 8. Could have gotten off the field, potentially another score in the first quarter here. And instead, Rutgers, right, is set up in your red zone, threatening to tie the game. Okay, so 3rd and 4 here. Michigan does a good job again. Good coverage here. And this is Will Johnson, right? Doing exactly what you want to do. Don't want to spend too much time on this play, but it's clear Rutgers probably looked at the Michigan State game and said, you know what? We have a tall receiver as well, right? And he just capitalized on a big play. Let's run him against the true freshman corner, right, and see how we do, right? Will Johnson a little bit taller, a little bit more physical. He can deal with that, right? But he's on an island out here. Good coverage, right? Good stalk, boom, get your hand involved. He's looking back for the ball as well, right? Just a good job, right? That's a 50-50 job between the contact between the wide receiver and defensive back, looking back for the ball, right? No one's ever going to call that pass interference. So really good job. Will Johnson looked very comfortable out there as well, right? So that's good to see. So that was 3rd down. Rutgers would get a field goal. So it's a good job at least limiting that. So give credit to the true freshman there. Back on offense here, 14-10, second quarter now, early second quarter. Little play action pass here for JJ McCarthy in the face of contact. And again, this isn't a bad ball, right? Was it the ball that should have been thrown? We can argue that, right? I would argue that in this scenario, JJ McCarthy forced it, right? Did he have some options? Probably did, right? It seems like this sort of flood concept that you have from the bottom of your screen here between Ronnie Bell and Andrel Anthony. Ronnie Bell's running sort of a deeper cross here. Got a more shallow cross here for Andrel Anthony. And it seems like the shallow cross was there. Okay, you look at the shallow cross. It seems like you had a little bit of a window here for JJ McCarthy. You do have this guy kind of spying that, right? But he's not really running there, right? He's gaining more depth. He's getting out of there. Seems like Andrew Anthony could have been a decent option, as well as late release from Donovan Edwards, right? But that's not the read for JJ McCarthy, at least not initially. He's trying to hit Ronnie Bell, but it's well covered, right? I feel like if JJ McCarthy would have looked down a little bit and just saw this player here as well, he would have probably came off of Ronnie Bell's route and see that Andrew Anthony is kind of streaking across there. But it is well delivered. Okay, so it's a well delivered ball in the face of contact, right? This is a big hit. Got to go back and see why this contact actually got there. Excuse me for my back and forth. So let's go back and see where this pressure look came from, why there was a breakdown in pass protection here. Okay, so this is just a miss from Schoonmaker probably, or at least not good communication between Schoonmaker and your right tackle here. So Barnhart should have either passed off this defensive end, or Schoonmaker could have picked that up, right? So Schoonmaker is coming off here, sort of on the split zone play action look, right? I think Barnhart is holding on here. He's got his eyes, right? He's got his eyes here in case this guy is coming up. This guy has Schoonmaker in case Schoonmaker goes out for a route, right? Because Schoonmaker isn't, he's blocking, he's going to come late. So even though he has the eyes, Barnhart has the eyes, because that guy's not blitzing initially, then he's just focused, right? Then he's focused on the block here. I think Schoonmaker then has to recognize, hey, he's got this. I need to do a quick check, right? Just get your eyes here, and then you can look back outside, right? But you gotta check here, right? There's a big hole that's forming here, and Schoonmaker never really checks that. So that gets McCarthy hit there pretty big. And then if we look at the actual throw, right? I mean, perfect window, right? Like really good window, but just covered well, right? So you could put that into a dangerous pass category, and I wouldn't disagree with you, right? It's a little bit dangerous, right? It's not a great, not an easy window, right? But it was delivered again, right where it needs to be. So, in my opinion, JJ McCarthy should have came off of that, right? As soon as he saw the back of the number right here, right? As soon as you see this guy flying back this way and this, right? Both those guys are converging exactly where that ball needs to go. Is it a well-thrown ball? Yeah, it is. But because especially number 0 darting out that way, right? You got Andrew Anthony. Take that, right? Take that ball. It's 1st and 10, right? It's 1st and 10. No need to force that right there. If it's 3rd down, won't be mad at that. Maybe I'll be a little mad, but I could understand it. On 1st down, no need to force it like that. Okay. So next play here, 2nd and 10. Let's see what we get. Here, this is such a tough play to defend against, right? I honestly don't know what you do, because you're keeping, it looks like you're just a max protect. And what I mean by that is you're just keeping your tight end in, right? You got the wheel from your running back here, so you need to vacate some bodies to account for that. Your tight end's initially blocking, Barnhart's blocking as well, right? Boom, 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 boom. You got plenty of bodies, only 4 on the pass rush here. And then, okay, release, right? You got Aaron Lewis. He's a defensive end. I think that's Aaron Lewis, right? He's backing up here into coverage. And look at all the open space for Schoonmaker, right? All the open space. And this is kind of like a decoy, but not really a decoy, right? It doesn't have to be a decoy to Donovan Edwards. That's also going to stress any boundary defenders here, right? Especially if you're in a zone here, it's going to stress this wheel, because that's really terrifying to have Donovan Edwards out there on a wheel, right? But this late release here from Schoonmaker, right? Look at all that space by the time he catches it. Yes, it's at the line of scrimmage here, but he's got a clear, 8 yards between him and any defender, right? And you really like that. So I really like this as a 2nd and 10 play. He chooses a really good path, right? He's not doing anything fancy here. He's just saying, you know what? I like this path that I can get a 1st down if I just go right in between these 2 defenders. Maximizes the yardage there, right? So I mean, how do you defend against that, right? You have to just keep someone home and just watch that tight end, right? You just have to watch 86 here. You just have to say, okay, he's there, he's there, he's there. And then, right, it's really hard with that wheel. Like I said, when you have Donovan Edwards working out like this, right? What's your linebacker going to do, right? What's his reaction here when you have Donovan Edwards going out this way, right? He's going to bail, right? And understandably so. And even these guys, they're going to start to see this as Donovan Edwards starts to raise his hand as well. Again, that's using your weapons to your advantage, even when you're not throwing it to them, right? They're going to be worried about that. So having this sort of play in your arsenal, right, that creates just a lot of open space, right? Look at how much open space that creates just by the threat of Donovan Edwards there. So really clever play, really tough for the defense to be prepped for that and adequately defend that. So really like that. Later on the drive, 3rd and 8 here, 11:50 to go. Drop back pass, and it's unfortunate, right? This is just the defense making the play, right? We don't really get to see anything down the field, right? All we really see is McCarthy likes what he sees, steps up, and then it's pretty smart from this defensive tackle, right? This defensive tackle, they're on a little twist here. So Aaron Lewis is working to the inside here. They're going to twist here with this defensive tackle, and no one picks him up, right? So not a great job from Michigan passing that off, right? You got to do a little bit better job if you're Keegan and Oluwatimi on passing that off. So no one's engaging this, right? As McCarthy is loading up to pass this, there's no one blocking him, right? Keegan is not engaged there. So that gives him a lot of freedom to just look at the eyes of Jason McCarthy, a clear path, and just get into the passing path, right? So it's pretty smart play from him to not just bull rush a quarterback, right? He probably could have, and he probably could have gotten a hit, but what's the value in that compared to knocking down the pass, right? Knocking down the pass, guaranteed 4th down, maybe a pick, right? You get a hit on a quarterback, of course, that's a good thing, but this ends the drive. So well-executed stunt there. Keegan could have done a little bit better job. Oluwatimi wasn't ready for that pass off either. And the result is a knockdown pass, right? Can we see where he's trying to throw it? Probably Colson Loveland? Not really. No, he's looking deeper than that. So it's probably is this Cornelius Johnson? No, Cornelius Johnson's up here. It's probably Andrel Anthony running across, a deep cross there. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. So given man coverage, right? Given man coverage, you like that matchup here of this deeper cross, right? It's a tough route for this guy to cover in man, and just wasn't able to get there, right? So give a lot of credit to the defense, and now Rutgers has the ball back with the chance to gain the lead here. So 14-10, 1st and 10 from the 35 after the punt. Really good job from Mason Graham here. Okay, so the run game for Rutgers, there was a point where it was like 120 something rushing yards for Michigan to 1 rushing yard total for Rutgers. So really good job on the ground defensively, and I mean everyone is pretty much winning on this rep. Okay, I can point to multiple players here, and I will. All right, Rayshon Benny, okay, does a really good job here. Watch him just rip through here. Boom, just a quick little spin move, right? Really quick. And it's kind of just like a little stretch blocking, like zone blocking here. Really bad technique from the offensive lineman. Rayshon Benny just works between this sort of double team, right? He works between these 2 offensive linemen, and he's just there, right? So that forces running back to bounce out this way. Then you have Mason Graham, the former wrestler, just there, just works inside, just completely beats his man, and bear hugs him down. Right. So if we're looking at Mason Graham on the outside, he actually takes out 2 guys. Right. So he completely destroys this play. Mason Graham does. He does a nice little swim move. This guy's going for a down block. They're pulling with their left guard here. Left guard is supposed to pull around here, be the lead block here. And you can follow him on this. Mason Graham with the swim move there, just completely. I mean, that guy is considering other life options than football at that point, right? That swim move is nasty. So he beats that, and then he has a puller in his face, works to the inside of him. And I mean, you're telling me that's a true freshman? So Mason Graham, right? Boom, swim move, work to the inside of the blocker, get the tackle for loss. You know, I don't know what more you can ask of a defensive lineman. That's a play, right? So I've said it on previous episodes, and I'll say it again. Having a true freshman defensive lineman be serviceable, okay? Be serviceable, not be a liability out there is one thing. That's great. That's really good if your defensive lineman is serviceable and not a red flag as a true freshman. For him to be doing this to a left tackle and then rip through the puller and then make the tackle for loss and make it look pretty easy, I mean, he's going to be a guy. He is going to be a guy. He's already a guy. So he's going to be a dude. So had to highlight that play because both Rayshon Benny and Mason Graham do really well on this play. But Mason Graham, man, watch out. He's already arrived. He just has a bunch of guys ahead of him, and he's still making plays. So really fun. So now you're at 3rd and 10 here. Should be looking to get off the field, and they do. Right? Really good job here for Michigan. Let me see this other angle. I don't know if this other angle will really show it that well. But this is just a couple guys getting there, right? Taylor Upshaw. Really, I don't know if Taylor Upshaw gets credit with that. It should be at least half a sack for Taylor Upshaw, really. But both him and Mike Morris meet at the quarterback. I'm actually going to go to the wider view to actually break this down a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, this isn't even really – it seems like Taylor Upshaw is, again, more trying to open up the blitzing lane here for Junior Colson, right? I think Junior Colson likely has the running back. If the running back does go out in any sort of route, seems like that's where the eyes of Junior Colson are going. If he's in on pass protection, right, then you bring it, right? But Taylor Upshaw is seemingly purposefully attacking to engage both of these offensive linemen, right? It looks like he's trying to shoot this gap between these two offensive linemen. Right, so he's doing that to kind of create that open lane for Junior Colson. The issue is that both he and Mike Morris, right? Mike Morris, I mean, this wide receiver tight end guy does not get a good chip block to help your left tackle, right? Both these guys are tasked with Mike Morris, and he just works to the inside of that tackle, right? So that wide receiver actually helps push Mike Morris inside of the tackle, right? And at this point, what do you do? You got both Taylor Upshaw here and Mike Morris collapsing on the quarterback. The original says double team on Oki. Yep. And that's probably the right move, right? You're kind of assisting again with this wide receiver on Oki and the tackle, right? You got Oki to the outside. So when you have both Upshaw and Mike Morris winning, you're doing pretty well there. And they're making a conceded effort to double team Mozzie Smith, right? So they're double teaming Mozzie Smith. They're really double teaming everyone they can. It's just Michigan working through all of those double teams, right? So not able to get the pass off, and that's a big stop on 3rd and 10. Force the punt. All right. Michigan gets the ball back. Let's look at 3rd and 5 here. 2 wide receivers on either side. You send Colson Loveland in motion here. And this is a missed read from JJ McCarthy. Okay, so before when I was saying, like, before some of these weren't a read, right? It was a straight up give. This one was a wrong give, okay? And that's because you're leaving this edgemost defender right here completely unblocked, okay? He is unblocked. Okay, so take him out of the equation. What does that leave you? That leaves you 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the box, right? Gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So you got 5 on 5 in the box for blocking, right? We're removing this guy because that is the eyes for the read for JJ McCarthy. And then this guy will be blocked off the edge, right? This guy, if he comes up, that's why you're pulling him. and boom, you got your block if you are keeping to the outside on this split zone arc read, whatever you want to call it. So that's what you're looking at, right? And JJ just reads this incorrectly. Okay. And again, it's look at the hips. Look at the hips. Where's that guy going? Right. Even if he stays home right here, he is pointed inside, right? He is pointed inside all the way. And this read should be there right now, right? Boom, he's coming down. I'll have a block here. I'll be able to follow this, get a block, boom, boom, promised land, right? That's what you should have. It's what you should have all day, and it's just not there. Oh no, my program is freezing up on me. So I think JJ McCarthy's been pretty good at this year. He has, right? But this one he probably wants back, right? So he gives right there. And again, look at what happens to Corum, right? Who takes him out? The guy you're supposed to be reading, right? That guy goes down the line, he makes first contact, right? So that's a mistake, right? If he keeps right here, right? If JJ McCarthy keeps the ball right here, he's got options, right? He can either dart up the field right here. He can go to the outside here with 2 blocks, right? He's actually just going to straight down the sideline, take his defensive back with him. If we move the play just a little bit and pretend that he's keeping, right? If JJ McCarthy has the ball, he's probably right about here. I mean, he's probably still blocking right here, but you got a block here, you got a lot of room, right? So after the play as well, watch JJ McCarthy after this, right? Plays dead, boom, gets tackled. Watch JJ McCarthy. He knows it. Oh, right? He looks at that. He's like, oh, shoot. Crap, right? Maybe a little bit more colorful language than that. So it's a bummer. It's a bummer. Just should have kept that, right? I don't know what he was really expecting there, right? I'm thinking maybe he was worried that this guy going down the line of scrimmage, that he would have had this linebacker waiting for him or something, but trust your read. This is the guy that's on block. You're leaving this guy on block for a reason. Trust that your left tackle is going to get there to the linebacker, right? Trust that he's going to be able to get there, and he does, right? So bummer. Just a bummer. But hey, again, these are little mistakes. They're correctable, right? The play is there. Just one little mistake here or there. You change 1 or 2 things, and the play's gonna get there. So again, misread there sets up your field goal. Your ace. And Jake Moody's been dependable all year, and then just a weird wind gust, right? You see that? Just a little gust right there, just pushes it. Unfortunate, right? Oh man, barely misses it. That's how you get upset, right? This is how you lose a game. You have just little mistakes like that. Bring in your ace kicker, right? He's number 2 on Mel Kiper's board for kickers, number 2 to that Maryland guy. And brutal, right? Brutal. So here you go. Rutgers gets the ball back, right? Just a couple mistakes. Rutgers gets the ball back, and boom. Big play, right? Big play. And what's the issue here? All right. Main thing, just make the tackle. Okay. It's 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. You're playing off coverage here if you're Will Johnson, right? You bring a little bit of pressure, bringing 5 on the pass rush here, but it's a quick, just 2-step throw, right? Just 2-step throw. This is not the easiest thing to cover if you are Will Johnson. And why do I say that? You're running this guy kind of on this little seam route. This is mainly just to get in the way of this slant, okay? This route is just to get these 2 guys in the path of Will Johnson to defend at the point of the catch, okay? So that's tough. That's tough for a true freshman to be able to navigate through that, right? Right here, Will Johnson recognizes that this is happening and is trying to redirect, right? He just has to redirect a little bit, right? Just a little bit. He makes the decision to go under it. He has the athleticism to make that play, right? Right here, he should be the key difference between this play being stopped right here and this being a huge chunk play is kind of twofold. But first, get your head in front of the wide receiver, okay? In front of it. If your head is in front of the wide receiver here, you likely make that tackle. Okay. So again, these are just tiny little minute things. Get your head in front towards the ball, right? Get your body across him. Instead, putting his body behind him, right, and trying to use his arms to tackle, there's no oomph behind that. Putting your head behind him, right? There's it's very easy, especially with the momentum of the wide receiver, right? This is just physics. Momentum of the wide receiver is taking him this way, right? His route was already taking him this way. Adding force this way, the force is going to be behind him, right? He's going to be able to shrug that off pretty easily. If he instead puts his hat in front of him, right, that disrupts the path of the wide receiver. So it's really easy to see why Willis Johnson just fell off, right? Based on his trajectory there, it's just really easy to see. And then point number two, Quentin Johnson is on an island. Guy makes a nice play, right? Makes a nice juke here. Quentin Johnson not able to mitigate, right? You got to mitigate damage a little bit better than that, right? So Will Johnson missing that should have just been a first down. Quentin Johnson with the additional miss there, that turns it into a huge chunk play, right? So it's just two plays like that. Really unfortunate. Pass rush was kind of constricting the pocket, right? But again, two-step drop, boom, just a throw, right? Maybe get your hands up a little bit quicker, but pass rush is never going to get there. But again, just get your head across. Just get your head across. Hurts. And then Quentin Johnson just got to do a little bit better job breaking down, right? It's hard. He's off screen, so we can't really see where Quentin Johnson is as well. You could argue he should be coming up a little bit quicker, right? Impact of missing Makari Page, right? Safety Quentin Johnson missed a second tackle. I don't remember playing much before this. He's gotten spot snaps, probably less than 20 per game. It's tough. It's tough, but these are good reps to put on film, right? Both for Will Johnson and Quentin Johnson, right? You never know when there's going to be a time where you're needed, right? So better to learn that now than later on in a game where it really matters, right? This game still mattered, and at this point it was still a game, so you never want to see that, but these are great teachable moments, especially for Will Johnson, who will be a contributor very soon and is already, he's your third corner. He's not really a backup. He's your third corner. Okay, 4th and 3, pick play executed really well. Again, sometimes you got to give credit to the opponent, right? They recognized, again, with that last play, you're picking on who? A true freshman corner, right? And I don't think this is Michigan. This is something that Michigan's done very well at all this year. I would say they've done this pretty poorly, actually, is being able to switch off in this sort of pick route just look, right? So this is nothing more than just a boom, boom, sit here, and then boom, work around it, catch the ball, right? And the whole goal, just take this defensive back with you, and then just don't put your arms out, right? As soon as you put your arms out in a blocking motion, then you're in trouble, right? So right here, boom, right? You're just in the way, and that's all you need to do. So there's needs to be a little bit better job of recognition here, right? There needs to be a switch call. And unfortunately, that's on Will Johnson, right? Will Johnson is the one covering this guy. You don't know, like, you're locked in if you're here for Mike Sanderson, right? You're blocked in. You don't see this happening. This is something that Will Johnson has to recognize, say switch, and then just stay to the outside and recognize that this is probably coming, right? So again, this is I don't think this is a mistake in alignment. I think this is more of just recognition of down and distance and situation. It's a good question, Nerd Bill. I think it's just a matter of being experienced and being able to switch that appropriately. I think that's it. And I think this truly is just what is the down distance? 4th and 3, right? What are they going to, what are the likely situations? Are they really going to be throwing a fade here, right? Is that really what they're going to go through? Or are they going to go for something a little bit more tricky? So I think you just got to get those reps for Will Johnson and teach that better. You just need to teach that better and get comfortable in those down and distance scenarios, right? Have that in the back of your head. Those are little things. where you don't really expect this all too much, but especially on 4th and 3, this is, something that I would consider pretty common. Against Iowa, 4th down, they didn't switch it up on a pick route. They just stayed on different planes. I think Iowa also had that, though. I remember Iowa ran that play well. The throw just took him off his feet, right? So I don't think, even if they stayed on different planes there, Nerd Bill, I think you're right. The alignment was a little bit different, but they still had that play, right? The way to defeat this is by switching, right? Is by Will Johnson. As soon as he recognizes right here, he's got to recognize, hey, this guy's not really running a route. He's just running into my guy. He's about to run into my guy, right? And he's looking right here, right? So you need to recognize, like, another thing here, this guy, what is the quarterback doing? Okay, what the quarterback is rolling out. Okay, it's one thing if he's doing a straight up drop, then it's looking very likely that there could be a slant, right? Very likely if he's just doing a straight drop. Him rolling out like this, what does that tell you, right? He's not going to be rolling out and looking to hit a slant like this. That's just not what you want. You don't want your quarterback rolling to the right, throwing across his body to a slant. Not what you want. Him rolling out like this, right? That shows you this is the intent, that there's going to be something out here. So again, this is a lot to process as a true freshman corner, but those are the level. That's the level you need to get at to recognize and appropriately switch. Really tough. Really tough. So again, give a lot of credit to Rutgers for picking on Will Johnson, even though he's really talented, right? Those little things, those coachable moments, just got to rep him. Good tackle for Sanders still, keeping it from a touchdown. But now you got 1st and goal here, and Rutgers is gonna punch this one in here. Good ball, definitely is pass interference. I hate the light thing. I really don't like it. They put on the lights like immediately. So just a little fade. They're saying, hey, this is our tall guy again. Go up against your shorter cornerback in DJ Turner and see what we get. Right. So again, not bad coverage to start, right? Boom, you're there. Look back for the ball, right? This is 50-50. Right here, you're good. But again, just a little bit of arm extension there. And you got to let go right now. If you are DJ Turner, you got to let go right now, right? Right now, they're probably going to be throwing that flag. They see that hold, right? They see that you can't hold on that long. So it is pass interference. He does get his arm in there. So it's good technique outside of just holding. It's tough. It's tough, especially against a larger receiver like that. Sometimes, again, Rutgers recognize that matchup, right? They didn't have a whole lot of matchups, but or like matchup wins, but they're going to take those 50-50 balls, right? So this is scary for someone like Marvin Harrison Jr. for Ohio State, right? Scary. Not a whole lot you can do. I think your goal is that you can get a guy like Will Johnson up to speed enough, right? He's got the size, he's got the athleticism to match. Just about getting him those reps. So again, this isn't bad coverage from DJ Turner. He's got to be a little better. And that's a tall ask, right? It's not easy. I say that. It's not something that I think is really easy. Okay. So now Michigan's losing, right? Michigan is down 17-14. Excuse me. And this is where it starts to get scary, right? 2nd and 4. Okay, this play is crazy. Or get Jimmy Green back to health. That too. Jimmy Green's bigger too. But I do think having a guy like Will Johnson out there with his size is very appealing. So this play is crazy, okay? For a number of reasons. All right, so Michigan going for a quick snap here, okay? Defense not really set. You look at the play clock, 30 on play clock. Defense still not really set here. Michigan going quick, okay? Just not great pass protection. Not great pass protection from a couple different guys here. And takes it out, okay? These are the sort of situations where it's like, okay, this didn't work. throw the ball away if you're JJ McCarthy, right? Sometimes he can get out of this. Other times, he doesn't really throw the ball away. In this scenario, you probably should say like, "Oh yeah, remember I have Donovan Edwards leaking out here. Just lay it up for him." But he never really looks for that, right? He's looking for the escape, not the dump off pass here. So who could have done a little bit better job? Carson Barnhart, top of your screen here. He gets a little bit too high here. He doesn't shuffle his feet as well as he needs to. So just a good bull rush there from old friend Aaron Lewis. And then not a great job on the inside for Trevor Keegan. Right, Keegan gets beat a little bit too much leverage here to the inside, and this defensive lineman has a path into the quarterback as well. Okay, so neither of them do really well. Not great considering you had the numbers, right? Only sending 4 on the pass rush, you have 5. So not really what you want to see. And then the extracurriculars after the play, right? So he's sacked, whatever. Defensive lineman gets up, kind of bulls over the quarterback, right? I don't know how this isn't a flag, okay? Because Michigan can you have the wipe the nose gesture, whatever, in no one's face, right? And then that gets flagged. I do think JJ McCarthy sells this a little bit much, right? But you can't have 2 guys bowling over a quarterback in a celebration and then a guy gives a salute afterwards and not tell me that doesn't deserve a flag. So that's pretty crazy. Okay. All right. And then, anyway, Michigan midfield later in this drive, 20 seconds left, 4th and 3. And Michigan recognizes single coverage at the bottom of your screen right here, right? They're going to recognize that. And finally, we get a connection to a wide receiver here, right? So good recognition there. You like that simple route, get it to Cornelius Johnson. So again, nothing special here, right? They're showing pressure. Rutgers is showing, right? You got a lot of bodies here. This is simple one-on-one coverage. Boom, little comeback route, little hitch route. Trust your wide receiver, trust your timing, and you can make that play. So it's in press coverage. Good release here from Cornelius Johnson. He's looking all the way here, right? He's looking all the way. That's where JJ McCarthy's eyes are, and this is all about timing, right? You're in press coverage. A lot of responsibility for that cornerback. Just be physical with him, get off of it, delivers that ball to the outside, right? That's key. Ball location needs to be just to the outside here. Don't let this cornerback, right? If this ball is too far inside, this cornerback can make a play on it. So the further outside that ball is on the outside shoulder, you're going to have a lot less chance of that cornerback making a play on it. So really good pickup there. Now you're just trying to get a little bit extra yards here on 3rd and 3. Not a full play analysis, apparently. I don't know why I clipped this in the middle of the pass here. But good look here to Ronnie Bell, right? Just a little high. Simple concept, get to the sideline here, right? Just a quick throw. Throw is high. I can't believe Ronnie Bell went up and get this. But just not able to get that foot down, right? Not able to get that foot down. What are we complaining about here? What are we doing, guys? I mean, Michigan's 9-0. Okay, you got a running back who's on pace to be a Heisman winning running back. It's a 9-0 offense. If you're mad about that, then you're mad about everything. That's my take. So this would just get a little bit more yards. Can't believe Ronnie Bell went up and caught this, right? So there's no lacking of ball skills. It's, again, just little things, right? This is a lot of just little things. Good play from 16, right? He takes this out of bounds. He takes Ronnie Bell out of bounds. It's just not able to connect all the dots here to make it work. So you set up another 50-yard field goal. Got another 50-yard field goal here. And you missed barely right last time. Jake Moody, again, just barely missed left. Brutal, right? Go to half, and you're down 3. Tough. All right, let's start to look at the second half. All right, so Michigan, what was it? After this game, they've outscored opponents something insane, like 100-3 or something insane in the third quarter or something. Michigan just absolutely demolishes in the second half. Their second half adjustments is really crazy. All right, we're gonna stop talking about. We're not gonna stop complaining about Jim Harbaugh in the comments. All right, we're gonna do it, or else I'm gonna put you on a timeout. Okay, let's just be nice. Talk about the plays. Let's have a good. Yeah, there we go. 103 in the second half, last 4 games. Thank you, Zach Swank. Appreciate that. So second 11 here, early in the third. Yep, thanks, Mark Edwards, as well for that stat. Really good in the second half, right? So really good. And Michigan's defense definitely showed their teeth early on, right? Really good recognition here from both Chris Jenkins and Mike Morris, right? So Mike Morris off the edge here. He's the guy getting red, right? And Mike Morris does a really good job just sitting here making the job of the quarterback tough, right? He has to make a decision: do I pitch it out here or do I pitch it here, right? And it's kind of based off the motion here. Really, because he's right here, you probably should pitch it to the outside, right? You like that matchup of your running back against the defensive end. If this is a true read, right? We don't really know. I don't know the offense that well to say if this is a true read or not. That seems like what it should be. But a really good job of Mike Morris sitting in that gray area, right? He doesn't commit one way or the other. And then as soon as he sees the quarterback make that decision, now he collapses, right? So really good job for Mike Morris making that decision difficult on the quarterback. And then it's just Chris Jenkins, right? Chris Jenkins fighting off here and then just continuing down the line of scrimmage, right? Just not giving up on the play. So there's Chris Jenkins, 94, really good pop, disengage with the arm. Really love the arm work there. Watch that arm off that initial pop, right? He locks out his left arm. See that lockout? Watch his right arm. He violently rips his right arm over, right? This is like a wrestling move right here. Boom, rip that right arm over. And now, right, where's the power of that offensive lineman, right? He can't get it, right? He's locking off with that right arm. That right arm, really good job, right? Now look at who has the leverage. Chris Jenkins works his way inside. Boom, right in that hole. Chris Jenkins, one of the most unsung heroes of this defense so far. Really good player. Really, really good player. Inside defensive line, Mike Smith, Chris Jenkins, even Mike Morris when he's working on the interior. These guys are feasting, right? They're making the jobs of the linebackers that much easier. So big play, right? That sets up, or what play was that? Yeah, it was second 11. I don't think I captured the third down play, but Michigan gets the ball back, right? Early on in the third quarter. Huge, right? You want to really get that momentum back, right? You're down at half against a team that really shouldn't be sticking around with you, or at least you feel that way. So yeah, really great play from Chris Jenkins there. Was really lowly ranked and really showing out. So here, again, just utilizing that matchup that you have with Donovan Edwards, right? So you bring Donovan Edwards out of the backfield, right? You get him out there, and you just send him on a simple kind of wheel, like a go route, sideline route. I don't know what you want to call it. It's essentially just a streak, but he gets a little bit of width here. So really good job of finding that, right? And it's simple. It's simple. Get a matchup you want. Get your catching wide receiver to the outside, and that's all JJ McCarthy's looking at, right? He is just looking right here, saying, "Is this guy getting enough depth for this route that's going to take Donovan Edwards to the sideline here?" And he doesn't, right? Now, why he doesn't, I'm not sure. Seems like a bust, right? It seems like a bust. Seems like they don't really know what coverage is going on at the time of the snap. They're trying to adjust, right? It seems like he is kind of holding his hand out, like, I'm not sure what I'm doing here. And just a really nice ball. So that's what you get, right? That's what you get when you have a pass catching running back like that. You just get a little bit of a mismatch like that. Number 6 doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing, right? Whether or not to carry him up. You also have Schoonmaker coming across here, right? So that seems like what he's reacting to, but they're just uncomfortable, right? Rutgers didn't really seem comfortable on the sort of wheel route look to Donovan Edwards, and just a nice catch and nice play design. Just get your guy out in space, right? It's simple. Get your guy out in space, make the defense react to a guy like that. And it spaces out the defense, right? It makes them kind of panic. Here, another wheel route look, Blake Corum. This one, I mean, this is an NFL throw. This is also a missed opportunity to Colson Loveland, but I like the concept here. Okay, so what are your routes on the outside? You send just up the seam for Schoonmaker. Um, you're sending a similar route for Colson Loveland up the seam. And you got Blake Corum on a wheel. So it's almost like a 3 verts concept there. Okay. Any thoughts on Edwards shoving out of bounds kind of early? Old school dudes see that and wonder why. Yeah, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why he jumped out. I would have probably liked to see him jump back and try to fight for more yards, but maybe I don't know. Maybe Corum wasn't feeling great, and they're like, okay, kind of protect yourself a little bit more. I don't know. But anyway, you got 2 high safeties here, right? This safety's going to drop back. This safety's going to drop back. The eye should really be on this safety. If you're JJ McCarthy, it seems like that's where the eyes are. It's a mismatch, right, for this linebacker. This linebacker is going to cover Schoonmaker up the seam. Okay, and because of that, you also like the matchup that you have for Colson Loveland on this defensive back, right? That's a size mismatch. So then it comes down to this safety, right? Does he cover this way on Schoonmaker's seam, or does he cover this way, right? Is he reacting here, right? Because this defensive back will pick up Corum out of the backfield as well, right? So it comes down to this safety. This is a really tough route for both of these defensive backs, especially this linebacker, right? So you're going to favor Schoonmaker in this, okay? You are. The difference is that safety is reacting to Schoonmaker's route, okay? So, and he never comes off of it, okay? So you see that safety coming over the top here. That safety was getting good depth, right? So if this ball is thrown right now to Colson Loveland, is there a gap here? We don't really see it all too much. I think there is. I think that's way too much space to not be an attractive throw, okay? But it's right on the money. If you're throwing this to Schoonmaker, I mean, you can't throw this ball any better, right? This is over the back shoulder, right where it needs to be for the tight end. You got to give a lot of credit, right, for that rip right here for this linebacker, right? He never turned around, locates the ball, rips his arm through, and makes that incomplete pass. Hell of a play from that linebacker, right? But yeah, right about here, this is the over the top safety, right? So maybe this guy's hips aren't pointed as strong this way if the eyes of JJ McCarthy are more towards Colson Loveland instead of Schoonmaker, right? Maybe he's not reacting that hard, but his hips are turned this way, right? That's where he's committing to. So I don't hate the throw, right? I mean, that's exactly where that ball needs to be placed if you're going to Schoonmaker. Just give 22 heck of an effort there from the linebacker, right? And again, sometimes you just got to tip your cap. And in that case, just didn't work out. Okay. Now we're at 3rd and 8. That brings up 3rd and 8, right? You're getting all these passes from JJ McCarthy. It's like, man, we got what we wanted here. And then here's one that's, I wouldn't say perfectly placed, but Tyler Morris makes an appearance. All right. I don't think I've called his name out once. Just a simple out route. And one thing that's going to get him a lot of playing time is knowing how many yards you need to get on the play. Okay. This is 3rd and 8. So it's really good recognition from him. Let's see what's the route combo here. You got a little crossing route here for Schoonmaker, a little crossing route here. just an out route at the sticks and a clear out route on the outside, right? So that's what you got on the play side. That's where the eyes here for JJ McCarthy are going the entire time. As long as he is taking him out, right, you should have what you want, excuse me, on the outside. The ball could have been a little bit better, right? Ball should be on the outside here. If the ball is towards the sideline here, right, you don't have much chance for the defensive back to make a play on it. So this ball is a little bit behind Tyler Morris, right? So that puts it at risk. When you put it on the back there, right, that's a lot tougher for Morris to catch that because of just where that defensive back is coming from, right? So not the best throw. So that's a tough contested catch for Morris. So really good effort from him to come down with that as Sam Stamos comes. And yeah, really important moment. Willow Brooks said, right? You had your kicker miss 2 first half field goals, right? It was late in the first half as well. And this is around the similar area, right? This would be a 40-ish yard field goal or so, a little bit longer than that. So huge catch, right? Good throw, not great throw. But wide receiver really came down with it. So really big moment for Tyler Morris. Had to be his first catch on the year. So really good job on the contested catch and also recognizing the down and distance, right? He got to where he needed to pick up the first down. So that's how you get more reps, right? In key moments like that, coming down with the catch, huge play from him. All right, another third down here. Current drive here, 7 plays, 40 yards. Again, Michigan sending out the Donovan Edwards here, right? Bottom of your screen, Donovan Edwards sent out, and they put a safety on him, right? Number 4. Big old safety. Again, not bad defense. Not bad defense at all. But yeah, notice right here, right? They're saying, okay, number 4, I'm going to go out on him, send him out, right? It's not a bad defense, right? And again, the eyes go out there right away for JJ McCarthy. And he's got a step on him, right? Again, is this the best throw? Not really. Right? I wouldn't say it's the best throw. I don't think it's a bad throw though, because if he throws this in front of Donovan Edwards, right? Is there enough room here for Donovan Edwards to continue on his path and catch that? I'm not sure, right? Because it's a little bit inside, it forces Donovan Edwards away from the back of the end zone and comes inside a little bit to come down inbounds. So I don't think it's a terrible location for the ball. It does give number 4 a chance to make a play on it. Heck of a catch, right? Heck of a catch here. And you know what? I'm letting your player come up with the catch, right? Just give him a chance, right? Give your 5-star a chance here. And he's not only is he an excellent running back, he's probably one of the best receiving running backs in the nation. Really, really good. And that's good defense. Like I'll be the first to admit it. That's a good play from number 4. Right? His arm is right there. So good, strong arms here for Donovan Edwards. Not the cleanest of catches, but hey, he comes down with it. Right? So really good job securing that catch. Again, turn towards your playmakers. Right? Really good pickup. All right, now 21-17, right? Time to put your foot on the gas, put them away, right? They've gotten away with too much. Here, a little Wildcat and Junior Colson shutting this one down, okay? They hadn't shown, right, when they have number 18 here, this Wildcat, they haven't shown a whole lot in terms of, his ability to pass the ball. So this is a huge run tip when they have a Wildcat, right? And with this play design, the sort of arc read, right, what they're looking for is number 10 to come down and block, right? They're looking for number 10 to come down and block Junior Colson off the edge here. They're leaving Braden McGregor unblocked, okay? So that's the read here. If he comes screaming down, right, for this give, then the quarterback's going to keep. Or I'm sorry, I think I have that mixed up. Yeah. So if he comes screaming down, right, he comes screaming down like this, then you're going to give because the quarterback keep is up the middle. Okay. So because Braden McGregor is working down the line of scrimmage here, right? That gives the give read. Because this is Wildcat, right? That's why you have Junior Colson cheating down so much. So you're not able to get this guy across, not able to get him horizontal enough to block that, right? This play only works if number 10 is able to get that block securely because of the tip off for this look out of the Wildcat. It's a run tip. You can be more aggressive if you're Junior Colson here. So this is probably good prep, good adjustment when they have this personnel on the field, and you're able to beat that block, right? Nothing special, just able to recognize, hey, they're in Wildcat, they're going to be doing this sort of stuff. We don't need to worry about certain aspects of the pass in your zone. You don't need to worry about that as much. Let's get in the backfield, make a big play, right? And that's 1st and 10. Now you're at 2nd and 15. Now you're 2nd and 15. That's big. That forces them into passing downs. Right. And now that they're in passing downs, you put their true freshman quarterback in an uncomfortable situation. And that's when mistakes happen. Right. And how, like, Michigan made some great adjustments here because this is not easy to read. Right. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys. Right. This kind of looks like cover zero. Right. It looks like you got manned up, you're manned up, manned up, manned up, right? It looks simple, right? And then you drop a bunch of guys, right? And then the snap happens and you're dropping people, right? And now you don't know what's what if you're a freshman quarterback, right? So the lack of ability for the quarterback to recognize that, right? To say, okay, at the snap, I see this guy moving out here, right? He's in his zone. I see this guy moving out here. He's in his zone. He's moving out here, right? He's not able to adjust. He's not able to adjust. So it just happens that the route here, right? This little sit route, right? That coincides with this zone for Barrett. But this is just making things difficult pre-snap for this young quarterback to read. And boom, you're right there, right? So capitalize on that, right? Similar to how Rutgers prepared well for Will Johnson and taking advantage of their bigger wide receiver, that they had a couple successful plays. This is Michigan's defense adjusting really well and saying, hey, we're just gonna drop a guy, put him in location to be successful here and make it tough on this quarterback, right? This is a great overhead view as well, of just saying, hey, what are their tendencies out of this formation as well, right? Let's just drop a guy right there, confuse them, right? That's all this is. Just make things really difficult. Just a simple zone, right? It looks like cover zero, showing a lot of pressure. Who's dropping back? You'll never know. And we're going to block that user. And this is just a great play. So now you're in trouble if you're Rutgers, right? Michigan just got the momentum. You turn the ball over, and now you're set up really well on offense, right? So moving forward onto offense, 2nd and goal here, and you're given to Blake Corum, and he's able to punch this one in. Really good second effort as well, right? This is why Blake Corum added that extra weight in the offseason. This play is pretty dead, right? If we just look at it from this angle, right? He stopped pretty well short there. Just able to have that second effort, stay on his feet, the acrobatic stretch, just really good job. So this is also offsides, right? So this was called offsides in 23 there. Not the best blocking. Not the best blocking. There isn't really a crease here, right? You have Corum following Bredesen. Bredesen does get a block here, but Corum just kind of throws himself. There into the back of that block. But that extra second, right, that allows some bodies to flow through, right? Boom. Okay, throw myself through. And now he's able to have that second effort unimpeded. So, again, having that extra weight, that extra stability, it's really great to see. And now Michigan is up, right? Now Michigan putting the game away a little bit, right? And the very next play tip, and Mike Barrett gets another interception. Another interception. So I really like this play because this isn't necessarily a bad read. Not necessarily a bad read from your quarterback here. Right? You have this simple crossing route option here. You have 21 on a crossing route here, little cross here. This is open underneath the defenders in the zone, right? So it's not a bad look, right? He doesn't. Wimsatt was looking over here, didn't really like what he saw where Will Johnson was over on this route, right? So he adjusts well, steps up in pressure, gets his relief, throws it just a little bit inaccurate, right? Wide receiver wasn't really ready for it. And then you add in that there was some pressure, right? There was some pressure from Michigan that got to him. Yabioki off the edge here, right? Yabioki does a good job, right? Just one-on-one on the right tackle. Yabioki working off the edge here. That's going to force Wimsatt to step up. So let's watch Oki. Just good little speed rush, right? Speed rush, hands engaged, gets up there, forces Wimsatt up. So that forces him up in the pocket. And then the other side, it's, guess who? Mike Morris. Right? Mike Morris working up here. I think he's going with more of a bull rush here. Yep, just kind of a bull rush, collapse, and then works inside, right? So Yabioki, right, kind of forcing Wimsatt up in the pocket. As soon as he throws, right, as soon as he throws here, he's getting contacted. So he's not able to follow through that strongly. How much did that affect the pass? Maybe not a whole lot, but it seems like maybe a little bit of the accuracy or inaccuracy, I should say, was related to that, right? Just throws off the path of that ball a little bit. Ball looks a little wonky coming out of his hand. Right? And then boom, just a little bit of a tip. And guess what? Interception. Pick 6. Right? So that's huge. See if we've got a better angle of this. We'll see at least the contact here in the backfield. Boom. Right? Just making it a little uncomfortable. Just a little bit. Ball doesn't look that clean coming out of his hand. And then a really nice return from Mike Barrett as well. So again, just being opportune, right? Kind of how on the offensive side of things where all it takes is like one little thing for a play to go wrong, right? Sometimes all it takes is just that little step up, right? Yabioki forcing the quarterback to step up a little bit. Mike Morris just hitting that front shoulder a little bit right there, right? A little bit as he releases. Look at the ball coming out, right? Not as clean. That throws off just a little bit for the location of that ball. And then boom, being opportune, being in the right place, right time for Mike Barrett, right? Coming down with that, right? It's just everything. It's just everything. So again, just little things throwing off the path, throwing off the accuracy a little bit, throwing off the spiral, right? Those are the little things that can really cause a difference and take a play from, being an incomplete to a pick 6. Okay, that's where I'm going to stop for tonight, guys. If you can, subscribe to the channel. I should be back some other time this week to cover the rest of the play, but this is really where I would say the game kind of took over, right? Where you kind of put things away. But there are some other plays that I would like to cover from the second half as well. Just don't have the time tonight. But appreciate you guys coming out. We had 115 or so people come out. It was really fun. So thanks again for coming out. Throw a like on the video, subscription to the channel. Check us out over at michigan.rivals.com and appreciate it. So thanks for everyone coming to comment. I know there is some lively debates, but hey, we're all Michigan fans here. We're all passionate about the sport, right? And I appreciate you guys coming out and spending some time. So yeah, find me on Twitter at Steven Toski. And at Michigan Rivals on Twitter as well for any videos like this in the future. That's where you can find those announcements. But take it easy. Thanks for coming, and I'll talk to you later. All right, take care.